3 watts. Do you know what? I don't know how you're.
We've got you.
So, so today I'm going to introduce this wee type of cooker that we're going to be using, and it's called a trangia. It comes from Scandinavia. I'm not getting into the kind of history of it too much, but all I'm going to say is that this thing, the design of it is ancient. This one is also ancient. It's really old. I always imagine in my head people in the First World War in the trenches using a similar type of cooker to this. That's why it's lasted so long, as the design of it is so good. It's so good. So look, I'm going to get stuck into it. We're also going to be using an old school way, hopefully, of lighting it today, using a thing called flint and steel. And this is our fuel. So let's get stuck in it. So first of all, whenever you take this off, this thing here is two things: frying pan and also a lid. If it's really cold and you're trying to make yourself a hot chocolate, you want to have that lid on it at all times, because that helps heat it up. And then these are important today, these wee limbs up and down, and they have an importance for what we're going to do. I'm going to show you that in a wee minute. So inside your burner, we'll leave that to the side, and the handle, we'll leave that to the side, and then into the pots. Small pot, and this one, luckily enough, has a big pot. Sometimes hard to get that one out. Now, so that's your cooking stuff. That's the burning stuff over here in the burner and all. This thing here is the cooker. So when we take these apart, it's very clever. You flip this bit upside down, and you'll know you're on the right track, because this is where the burner sits.
Bring it in.
This is where the burner sits. And if you look at this bit, this is the bit that sits on top. So it should have three wee indents, or three wee pieces that are cut out, and they connect to three wee pieces that are on the trangia here, here, and here. And you put them in, turn it slightly, and then the whole thing locks, and that's your cooker. So I said to you, these wee limbs have an importance, and the reason is, and I only learned this after using these for 25 years. I only learned this about 2 years ago off a wee lad, and he laughed at me whenever he told me, explained it, that if the limbs are up, it's for the frying pan, and if the limbs are down, it's for the pot. And the reason for that is, if the limbs are down, there's oxygen coming around the sides, and if the limbs are up, then there is oxygen running underneath, and we need oxygen to make fire. What are the three things that make fire? Oxygen, heat, and fuel. So let's take a wee look at the fuel for this one, and then we'll deal with heat in a wee second. I'm going to take this apart. Alright, so fuel's methylated spirits. Basically it is alcohol, but not the sort that we drink. Have we smell that? Wow. And it's poison to humans if you ingest it, and it used to be white, but they changed it to that colour, and I think it's mental that nowadays young people and people who drink drinks this colour rather, and it was the thing that was supposed to put you off. So yeah. So when you're opening up the burner itself, it has two parts. It has a lid, and we got to be careful with that, and also this is an extinguisher. It's supposed to be like quarter heat, half heat, no heat, and we use it at the end basically to take the oxygen out of the burner. Let's look at this, and you can see that I'm opening this carefully on the ground, and the reason for that is a lot of people open it up here, and then they open it, and then the stuff spills out all over them. This one's already filled, which is great, and we have to be careful. So we're going to go for the lighting now. We have to be careful with this, and I light it like this, and then build a cooker around it so that I can use the striker and get the sparks down into it. So the first safety thing that I want to talk about is, you can see here that we can virtually not see the flame. I can feel a bit of heat off it there, but particularly on a sunny day, you won't see the flame. And a lot of people, what they do at this point is they knock it, and then it becomes a river of fire and becomes really, really dangerous. And if there's a river of fire on you, and you're in serious trouble. So that's the first safety thing. Make sure that you know it's lit, and that the flame is clear, and that you have to be careful around that and not to knock it. And I should have said also at the start, it's important that the trangia is set on a flat surface like we have today, because if it's knocked onto one side, it's more likely to knock over. So now that it's lit, I'm going to build the cooker around it, and here's our second safety thing. Is once the trangia is lit, the only thing that touches the trangia is the handle, and it works on pressure. So for instance, if we want to put a pan on, we lock it and then let go, it'll release it. The first safety thing is make sure that you know it's lit and that the flame, it can be see-through, or you can't see it, it's transparent until it's fully lit. And then second is that the handle is the only thing that touches the trangia. And also be aware that if you leave the handle sitting on like that on any of them, this is built to get super hot super quick, so it will conduct the heat through the metal down the handle, and when you grab it you'll burn yourself. So I'm going to put it out for a second because we're going to go on to our bread making now. Alright, and the way we put it out is we're extinguishing it by taking the oxygen out just from the side, and boom, and just leave it like that for a few seconds to cool down. Sweet. How did that make?